Good evening, you're now with me and degree for TVS Nightline. We begin with this story. The retail prices of RON97 and unsubsidized RON95 petrol in Peninsular Malaysia will decrease by 30 cent and 20 cent to RM4.35 and RM3.72 per litre respectively from June 4 to 10. In a statement today, the Ministry of Finance said the price of diesel in Peninsular Malaysia will also be reduced by 20 cent from RM4.87 to RM4.67 per litre for the same period. The retail price adjustment was in line with the automatic pricing mechanism formula for the week, which was lowered following a decline in average international market prices the previous week.
During the same period, the Madani government will maintain targeted subsidized prices for the people and selected sectors, covering RON95, Budi 95 at RM1.99 per litre, diesel in Sabah, Sarawak and Labuan at RM2.15 per litre, the subsidized petrol control system SKPS at RM2.05 per litre, and the subsidized diesel control system SKDS at RM2.15 per litre. The ministry says that at the current unsubsidized RON95 price of RM3.72 per litre, the use of 200 litres would cost RM744. The federal government is bearing up to RM346 monthly for each individual using the full Budi 95 entitlement, while the recipient pays only up to RM398 per month. MOF says the decrease in retail prices this week did not reflect a stable global petroleum market, but rather the risk that crude oil and petroleum product prices would remain high in the medium term due to the conflict and current developments in West Asia. Although crude oil imports from the US to Asia have risen to record levels, the increase remains insufficient to replace the loss of supply through affected major trade routes.
Stronger collaboration between government agencies, utility providers, developers and financial institutions is key to unlocking new opportunities and accelerating the energy transition at scale. Deputy Prime Minister Dato' Amar Fadilah Yusof says such partnerships highlight the critical role of collective action in advancing Malaysia's sustainability agenda.
Government play a critical role in setting direction. But it is the private sector that brings capital, technology and operational expertise to scale solutions on the ground. As we look to the future, I call for deeper collaboration across the entire value chain.
Fadilah, who is also the Minister of Energy Transition and Water Transformation, says energy transition in the region is now an economic necessity and a strategic priority to ensure industrial competitiveness and the public's well-being in the future. He adds that electricity demand in Southeast Asia is expected to increase around 4 to 5% annually. Meanwhile, Fadilah says the ASEAN Power Grid Initiative demonstrates the ability of member states to cooperate in strengthening cross-border electricity trade and regional energy security. At the same time, he stresses that the nation's transformation is not determined by the energy use alone, but by vision, courage, and collective commitment by the people in shaping a better future.
The spirit of togetherness that lies at the heart of Gawai's celebrations was brought to life through Coca-Cola's Kampong Takeover program at Kampong Anarais on Tuesday, gathering residents and visitors in a joyful and harmonious celebration. Public Affairs, Communications and Sustainability PACS Director for Coca-Cola's bottling operations in Malaysia, Singapore and Brunei, Khairul Anwar says the company's participation in the Gawai celebration reflects its commitment to the local communities and cultures, a relationship built over more than 90 years in the country.
So, Coca-Cola has been in the country for 90 years, right? And why we stay relevant for 90 years, because we always part of the social fabric of a local festival, local togetherness that we see. So contohnya pada hari Gawai di Kampung Ana Rais pada hari ini, tengok semua orang bergembira, semua orang berkumpul sama-sama, keluarga dan kawan-kawan, and we want to be part of it. We want to make sure that Coke is in everywhere, in every celebration, in every smile and togetherness that we have in the society.
The Kampong Takeover program not only brings the global brand closer to the community, but also reinforces the true spirit of Gawai, which celebrates unity, friendship and joy among the local communities. He also hopes that the various activities held throughout the event will leave visitors with lasting and enjoyable memories.
Most importantly, we are part of the celebration, we are part of the happiness.
On global affairs, Kuwait Airways has announced a partial resumption of flight operations at the Kuwait International Airport, allowing it to operate through Terminal 4 following damage assessments after Iran launched an attack. In a statement, the authorities said technical teams and relevant authorities had completed evaluations of the damage and implemented the necessary measures to ensure the safety of flight operations. It urged passengers to coordinate directly with Kuwait Airways to verify flight schedules and travel details. Earlier, Kuwait said that Iranian strikes killed one person, injured several others, and damaged key facilities, including Kuwait International Airport and diplomatic missions. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps IRGC says the attacks on U.S. bases in Kuwait were launched in response to a U.S. strike in southern Iran earlier Wednesday. U.S. President Donald Trump has admitted that he is not in any hurry to reach an agreement with Iran, as the terms of a potential deal remain vague. RT International spoke exclusively with an Iranian parliament member, and according to him, Tehran does not expect any positive outcome from the current talks.
Trump has many demands, but he operates in a completely different mindset. He has committed a crime, and yet he makes demands. For example, regarding the nuclear issue or the opening of the Strait of Hormuz. We say to him, you have committed a crime. You have assassinated our leader. As a terrorist, you must be tried in an international court. But now you come and try to claim the Strait of Hormuz. You started the war. If you hadn't started it, the Strait of Hormuz would be open and ships would be coming and going freely. Well, now we will show you. So the things he says, we must note that he is speaking from a position that has no basis in reality whatsoever, none at all. This time we must finish the job, once and for all. First, there must be no more war in the region. Second, they must pack up all their bases and leave the region. We are agreeing to these negotiations out of respect for officials and nations, and to make it clear that it is not that we oppose negotiations, rather we are prepared to negotiate. Otherwise, we know that these talks will not produce the desired result. But if they make a mistake, then we will settle the matter once and for all, so they understand that this time will not be like before, when we allowed them to leave the region easily. They must either pack up and leave the region on their own, or we will certainly drive them out by force. At the same time, the Zionist regime must know that its collapse is near and that it must be destroyed. First and foremost, we say that any negotiations are conditional upon them providing guarantees that they will honor their commitments that they make, because both Netanyahu and Trump are so arrogant and self-centered that they believe they are only supposed to extract concessions from other countries. But we want to make clear that those days are over. And of course, we are continuing our own work and moving forward with it. And at this moment, we are not discussing the nuclear issue in any way at all. This is our red line, because it is our legitimate right. We are not asking for anything extra. This money belongs to the Iranian people, and it must be returned to us. On the other hand, you imposed a war on us and caused damage during the negotiations, and you must also compensate Iran for those damages. If this does not happen, then we will certainly never allow the Strait of Hormuz to return to its previous normal conditions. From now on, we will control the strait, and under no circumstances will we allow hostile forces to enter the region. For the past 48 years, we have lived under sanctions and economic blockades. Despite that, we have planned carefully, moved forward, and achieved successes every single day. They were the ones who ultimately failed. In the economic sphere as well, we continue to operate on the same foundation. They have imposed a blockade, and we continue our work. With God's help, the outcome will be for the benefit of our people.
Wrapping up the Nightline, the World Health Organization (WHO) has significantly revised the number of suspected Ebola cases linked to the outbreak in Central Africa, reducing the figure from more than 900 to 116 as of May 31st. According to the latest update, 321 Ebola cases have been confirmed in the Democratic Republic of Congo (DRC), including 48 deaths. In neighboring Uganda, 9 confirmed cases have been recorded, with 1 fatality reported.
The sharp decline in suspected cases follows the completion of laboratory testing and investigations. While some suspected cases were confirmed as Ebola infections, many others were removed from the tally after being identified as different illnesses with similar early symptoms, such as malaria, meningitis, or unrelated fevers. Under outbreak surveillance protocols, anyone presenting symptoms consistent with Ebola is initially classified as a suspected case until testing determines the cause of illness. As a result, the number of suspected cases can fluctuate as investigations progress, while confirmed cases may continue to increase. The outbreak was officially declared on May 15th in the conflict-affected Ituri province in northeastern DRC. However, health authorities believe the Bundibugyo strain of Ebola may have been circulating undetected for several weeks before its identification. WHO's latest update no longer includes the previously reported category of deaths suspected to be linked to Ebola. The organization indicated that the figure was highly uncertain as it included people who died some time ago and whose remains could not be tested. Meanwhile, there is currently no approved vaccine or treatment for the Bundibugyo strain of Ebola. Efforts to control the outbreak continue to focus primarily on surveillance, prevention measures, and limiting transmission through close contact and bodily fluids.
And those were the updates on TVS Nightline. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.